Today we have updates on a bunch of upcoming horror movies, like The Pope's Exorcist 2, The Exorcist Deceiver, and Scream 7. Now let's get into it! Welcome to the KillJoy Jake YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this goofy little horror video. Before we talk about the biggest horror updates from the past few days, I want to really quickly thank my patrons out there who make this page possible. Without your support, I wouldn't be able to do this show, and I greatly appreciate it. It's also because of my patrons here that I was able to make this wild slasher short film I'm working on that hopefully you all will see soon. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now let's get into it. Whenever Panos Cosmatos makes a new movie, all of us need to pay attention. Dude made Beyond the Black Rainbow and Mandy some of the best sci-fi fantasy horror in the last 15 years. It was announced yesterday by Variety that Cosmatos would be directing Flesh of the Gods, a new vampire thriller written by Seven scribe Andrew Kevin Walker. The plot has been teased as Flesh of the Gods is set in glittering 80s LA, where married couple Raul, Oscar Isaac, and Alex, Kristen Stewart, each evening descend from their luxury skyscraper condo and head into the city's electric nighttime realm. When they cross paths with a mysterious and enigmatic figure known as Nameless and her hard-partying cabal, the pair are seduced into a glamorous, surrealistic world of hedonism, thrills, and violence. Talking about his upcoming project, Cosmatos says, like Los Angeles itself, Flesh of the Gods inhabits the liminal realm between fantasy and nightmare. I'm convinced that Panos experiences life in a different way than all of us. Dude's always got something bizarre and surreal to say like that. Producer Adam McKay is also pumped for this one, saying, this director, this writer, these incredible actors, vampires, choice 80s punk, style and attitude from Miles, that's the film we're bringing you today. I'm excited too with that writer-director combo. Oh my god. I also love seeing Kristen Stewart do all these weird horror movies lately. My personal favorite performance from her entire career so far comes from David Cronenberg's Crimes of the Future. She is a little weirdo in that thing. While Abigail and Renfield failed to bring back vampires recently, maybe Panos Cosmatos can bring them back to the mainstream in his latest feature here. Let's hope it's a step above Twilight though. Also, if you're like me and you're wondering whatever happened to Panos Cosmatos' A24 horror film Necrocosm that got announced in 2022, I don't know. What I will say is the dude likes to take his time on projects. For instance, Beyond the Black Rainbow and Mandy have a 7-year gap in between them. My guess is we won't see either of these films for a little while here, but it will be worth the wait. Everything this dude touches is usually fantastic. It'll be a long wait, but I'll be sitting here patiently, Panos. Get out of the road, folks, because Father Gabriel Amorth is blasting back into theaters soon on his tiny-ass Vespa. 2023's beloved religious horror film, The Pope's Exorcist, has finally gotten the green light for a sequel. It's no surprise considering that the first film was this major standout in this world of bland possession flicks. The Pope's Exorcist stood out especially because of its maybe unintentional humor. If it's the extended sequence of my guy here driving through the Spanish countryside via tiny Vespa, or the Marvel CGI fight he has with the demon in the third act, there's plenty of B-movie fun to have all around. Producer Jeff Katz seems to be leaning into the joke here as well, saying, Amorth Nation, I just got the call. It's officially happening. Thank you to the amazing The Pope's Exorcist fans. You made this happen. Gas up your Lambretta and get ready to ride. Russell Crowe has even let slip recently that Screen Gems is planning a trilogy, so Amorth Nation is eating good. Personally, as silly as this sounds, I would love to see this franchise turn into the Fast and Furious of horror. The unintentional humor is cemented as the strongest facet here. The story of that first movie isn't much to write home about. They literally just handpicked items from the original Exorcist like literally every possession movie nowadays does. So why not stand out by leaning into your own mediocrity? A lot of horror fans seem to love it, including myself. The real-life Father Gabriel Amorth apparently performed over 100,000 exorcisms in his time, so they have plenty of material to go off of to keep this ludicrous franchise going. Let's just keep adding more stars and wrestlers to the cast list so that they can maybe race each other on Vespas in the next movie. I'm looking forward to Pope X in 2034, baby. To the surprise of Jason Blum and Jason Blum alone, The Exorcist Believer was a massive fail. Blumhouse acquired the rights to the Exorcist franchise from Morgan Creek Entertainment for $400 million. That price tag might seem a bit steep, but remember, Blumhouse had an ace in the hole last year with Five Nights at Freddy's. They knew that film was going to make money considering the gigantic fan base surrounding the IP online. It gave an entire career to Markiplier and MatPat. In my opinion, buying those rights is not where Blumhouse went wrong though. The problem is they rushed out a nonsensical movie from the same team that brought you the Halloween movies. Believer was also supposed to be the start of a planned trilogy, and I just think this crew ended up biting off way more than they could chew. While yes, I think David Gordon Green was a great choice for the Sacred Halloween franchise, I just don't think he is for The Exorcist. It's an entirely different animal, and trying to approach that franchise with the same tools as a slasher movie ended up being a recipe for disaster. David has since left the project, as Exorcist Deceiver, the second movie in the planned trilogy, still has a release date for April 18th of 2025. Now Deadline reports that Mike Flanagan is in talks to direct the next Exorcist movie from Blumhouse. See, this actually makes sense considering Flanagan's Midas Touch filmography and ghost-centric TV shows. It just makes way more sense to get the guy that did Haunting of Hill House to make the next Exorcism movie opposed to the Pineapple Express director. I mean, no offense to David Gordon Green, I do really like his movies, I just don't feel like his style is best suited for the Exorcist franchise. While so far I think this is an excellent move by Blumhouse to get Mike Flanagan to direct the next Exorcist film, they also need to can the story from Believer at this point. I've seen The Exorcist Believer twice now, and I still have no idea what is going on in that third act. Why are we casting demon fog into the fireplace, and why did that work? I think the best course of action moving forward is just to let Mike Flanagan write his own story, maybe even come up with his own trilogy, opposed to continuing someone else's work. It's a story that the vast majority of people didn't care about anyways, so I don't really see why Blumhouse would want to continue that. Whatever happens, I just hope that Mike here is able to sort out this mess. Godspeed, Mr. Flanagan. Godspeed. In a recent interview with People, and no, I'm not talking about the stinky meat suits that run amok on this planet, I'm talking about the media outlet, Neve Campbell says she's excited to return to the Scream franchise. Talking about her return to the franchise, Neve Campbell says, "I've lived with Sydney for 30 years, and I'm really grateful to get to go back to it." Campbell was absent from last year's Scream 6 due to a pay dispute that she found to be disrespectful. After rejecting the offer, she told People in 2022, "I honestly don't believe that if I were a man and had done 5 installments of a huge blockbuster franchise over 25 years, that the number that I was offered would be the number that would be offered to a man." It really sucked to report that amidst all the excitement for Scream 6 a couple of years ago. That plus the unfortunate firing of Melissa Barrera in November of last year just really put a damper on my excitement for the future of this franchise. Now with Neve's return though, some fans are getting excited for the upcoming installment again. Regarding current negotiations with the studio, Campbell remarks, "I'm really grateful that the studio heard me when I talked about pay discrepancy, and when I talked about Scream 6 negotiations not feeling respectful. When they first approached me for Scream 7, I thought, I don't know what respectful looks like to them. We might be in very different places, but they started out in a strong place, so that was lovely. It feels nice to have put that out in the world and to have been listened to, and to have made a difference in that way. I hope other people get that opportunity too." She also says she's excited to work with Kevin Williamson again, franchise creator and writer of Screams 1, 2, and 4. This time around though, he's directing the upcoming installment. For the most part though, fans are excited to see Kevin Williamson in the creative side of things again for this franchise. Although, if I had to bet, I'm sure he gave some notes to our writers from the previous 2 entries. I can't imagine he just stood back and straw bossed that thing. That's just crazy. A lot of this is very exciting to hear from Neve Campbell. But again, Spyglass just drove the money truck up to her front door. Of course she's gonna say these things. I'm still skeptical about a lot of the decisions being made recently, as it feels like a trick to get the fan base back on board. The beloved screenwriter of the original is directing the new installment, even though he only has 1 directing credit to his name. Does that make him the best choice to direct Scream 7, or is Spyglass just jangling keys in front of the fan base's face? There's no denying that Kevin Williamson understands the Scream franchise better than most people. He created it back in 1996. But why is he directing and not writing this upcoming installment? That just doesn't make any sense to me. I just think he would be better suited there considering his expertise. This is total speculation, but I think maybe he's directing directing this upcoming installment because no one else wants to touch this franchise with a 6-foot pole at the moment. I've heard some things through the grapevine, that's all I'm gonna say. As a huge fan of the Scream franchise, I fear that 6 might be the last good entry here. I can't imagine a film with the intention of winning fans back will actually be something worth our time, but rather a candy-coated turd filled with nostalgia baiting. I hate to sound so cynical here, but I just have a bad feeling with every new update we get about this flick. It's no matter what the quality of this film will be though, the studio knows at this point that they could release anything with Scream in the title and it will make money. I'm definitely predicting that 7 will be successful. I'm more concerned with the quality of the film overall, just to clarify. It'll make a lot of money, but it will be reviewed poorly. That's my speculation as of right now in May of 2024. Let's hope I'm wrong about the poor reviews though. What do you guys think about Scream 7 though? Will it be a killer new entry or a total flop? Which update from today's video has you the most excited? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you all so much. Please subscribe. Now I will wipe my ass on all of your furniture if you don't. That is a guarantee, my friends. Get wrecked. Just hit that red button and you can avoid all of that mess. Thank you all for watching again, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.